Understanding there's a lot of people in this world who are either infertile or have weaker reproductive systems and will never experience the gift of parenthood outside of adoption, which is completely unfair because these are normally the people that would end up being the best parents if their bodies allowed it. Now you will come to find out that the women in this video completely took the life of their children and the blessing of motherhood for granted and should have never been parents in the first place. Now with that being stated, let's get the show on the road. Abusing children in any way, shape, or form is considered to be one of the most frowned upon things to do in the world. But in my opinion, manipulating children and getting them to do your bidding to make somebody else's life a living nightmare by lying about them being a child molester is just as worse. And that's exactly what this conniving piece of work did to her children. The father of her children passed his lie detector test with flying colors when he was asked if he sexually abused his daughters. But she failed a lie detector test in which she was asked if she fabricated the story of the father of her kids beating and molesting the kids. But believe it or not, that's not even the worst thing that happened in this episode. This woman was so upset that the father of her children passed his lie detector test that she repeatedly informed herself and everybody else that some error had to have been made. This means that she prioritized the desire to be correct over the fact that her children were never molested or beaten by their father. Now, every parent's worst nightmare is for something to happen to their kids. But she was hoping that the father of her children was a child molester just so she could have the power of being right about the situation. Next up, we got this sorry individual. She failed a lie detector test in which she was asked if she purposely burned her 1-year-old son and pushed him out of a 2-story window. Now, to make matters worse, she didn't even seek medical attention for the boy after all this happened. Now, the only reason why this pathetic excuse for a mom is number 4 on this list is because even though she failed the lie detector test and swore up and down that she was innocent, Steve Wilkos was able to get the truth out of her and got her to admit that she did indeed burn her 1-year-old son and push him out of a 2-story window, which is an incredibly rare scenario considering that every guest on the Steve Wilkos show who fails a lie detector test goes completely out of their way to convince everybody that they telling the truth. Sorry excuse mom number 3 is a prime example that people should not be having kids underage. She's the literal epitome of an irresponsible kid with no life experience and does unthinkably stupid and irrational things as a result. During her introduction scenario into this episode, she admitted to hitting her 2-month-old son hard enough to give him a subdural hematoma, brain hemorrhage, and a contusion on his cheek. She also failed a lie detector test in which she was asked if she slapped her son, kicked him, and threw a cell phone at him. Yeah, pretty horrible, right? With all due seriousness, the only thing that was reassuring about this episode was this woman's father, who showed an unrelenting amount of patience and made his daughter feel as comfortable as possible, despite the monstrous things that she did to her 2-month-old son. Now, she better consider herself lucky, because a lot of parents would have went upside her head for what she did. Now, without a doubt, this woman right here is one of the most selfish, inconsiderate, and heartless people I've ever seen in my life. She would leave her son in a pitch black room for hours, sometimes days on end, while she went out and went to go party. She was literally treating her son like a caged animal. All the light bulbs had been removed from every light fixture of the room that the boy was being imprisoned in. Every window in this room was covered by blankets to block the outside light, and the entire room looked like a landfill of used diapers. It was also stated that the boy's clothes were completely soaked with urine when it was first discovered that he was in the room. So there's absolutely no telling how long he went without a bath. It's just sad, man. Last and absolutely least, we have sorry excuse for mom number 1. In the past, this woman had been arrested for felony child abuse, lost custody of 5 of her 7 children, and was apparently doing drugs when she was pregnant. Now, the entire time that she conversed with Steve, she put on one of the worst acts I've ever seen in my life. Now, I want to say she was crying crocodile tears, but there were literally no tears coming out of her eyes at all. Her fake crying was so pathetic. The audience laughed and applauded her for her amazing performance as an actress.
Oh my God.
What are you wiping away? Your skin? She even tried to minimize the severity of her abusive ways by bringing up that she was in an abusive relationship, and even went to the extreme of lying and said that CPS told her to spank her kids.
Why does CPS tell me to spank my son?
Oh, okay. CPS told you to spank your children.
They did.
Now, you a special type of stupid, aren't you? Bro, at this day and age, CPS will try to take your kids away for scolding them in public. But this woman is either stupid, a bad liar, or both. Now, she took a lie detector test in which she was asked if she hit her son in the mouth, causing a scar. deliberately left her kids in soiled diapers for hours at a time, wouldn't bathe her kids for a week or longer, and to no big surprise, the lie detector determined that she did not tell the truth. A few of the women in this video stated that they sought or were seeking professional help. Despite the fact that I literally hate people who hurt children, I believe that people with abusive ways can change if they really want to. Another thing I noticed is that all the women in this video had relatively young children, which leads me to believe that postpartum depression was a probable contributing factor to their abusive ways. Postpartum depression is nothing to play around with. So if you suspect that you or somebody you know is showing signs of postpartum depression, please do whatever you can to seek professional help, or encourage anybody that you assume might be suffering from postpartum depression to seek professional help for the betterment of their children. But that does it for this one, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and backhand slap that like button. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe for more content. With that being said, I'm out. Y'all take it easy.